Hi everybody, Salty Stark here. Here to talk about the new content that just came to global, White Shadow Castle. It is, in my opinion, one of the more easier raids to do once you learn how to do it. But it definitely has a higher entry if you don't know how to do it at all. Like you haven't looked at a video or anything. And the reason for that is it places down arms, and if people don't focus the arms, they break and just insta wipe your team. As well as the fact that it just is really strong if you don't do it correctly. It has something that puts down a tidal wave of defense downs and attack downs and stuff like that. So we're gonna go through some comps that you can run to clear this raid. If you're just trying to go for a regular comp that can clear the raid really easily, I actually recommend Lulu, Helia, Naomi. This pretty much clears every raid except for Naraka due to Naraka's invulnerability or invincibility shield. But for all content in the game, this is pretty solid. It's just a PvE utility belt. These three units. But you might want to, let's say you want to run some other stuff, your team. You notice that, you have enough healing on your team, maybe you don't need the Lulu. You can interchange it with Bastet. Let's say you have enough defense buffs or defense downs and brands. Maybe you can throw in something like Fro. Yeah, damage dealers wise, you can throw in something like Fro or sorry, blind. You can throw in Crow, for example, if you need if you don't have like Naomi build or something, you decided to build this. Crow works here. Argon. Argon's a really strong damage dealer for this, as he is one of the best things in PvP content. Brandy is really strong for, PvE content, not PvP. Brandy is really strong for PvE content. It just, you want to pick stuff that's going to be, do the damage. That way it gets through quicker. But you also want the supports in case you want to back up or you need a backup and stuff like that. So I recommend support wise, Lulu. I mean, Lulu, Annabelle, Bastet. I don't think Ariel's bad. I don't think Wusa's that bad. If you're just trying to normally clear it, like you're going into a pug lobby. I don't think Wusa's that bad. Damage dealers, we just covered those. Some off-meta things that you might want. If you want to make it faster, for example, the fastest team you could probably get would be like Jack-Lantern, Neo, or and then two of the damage dealers, because the Jack-Lantern will do defense up and crit damage up, so that helps a lot. And then, let's say you're trying to go for as fast as possible. Maybe you want to speed tune or tune your team down to have crit rate up and damage taken up. Because, you can always tune your team to units if you have that unit and you want to bring it in. There's multiple things that you can bring into this raid, though. Don't think that, this is like a scope of like, you didn't say this unit, it must be bad. It's one of those things where, like, even if you wanted to, you could bring in Nikki. You kind of just like, for a regular pug lobby, you want a healer that potentially can cleanse, damage dealers to get rid of these things called arms. Once we get into the actual thing, I'll show you here in a second. But the unit selection for this is actually pretty wide comparatively to other content in the game. So it's just those are the best, and I believe the first team I showed you, the Helio, Lulu, Naomi, is literally the easiest team to clear with. To build and to clear with, in my opinion. Like, I guess Noob didn't want a second Noob with them. So we'll go on with this, I think. I don't see an issue. They don't see an issue, so, maybe they do see an issue. They see an issue. They like to try to do that a lot for some reason. We'll try to clear with this team. So, as you can see, we don't have the most awful teammates, but it should still be fine. We have enough healing as long as nothing dies. It might take a little bit, but we will get through the raid. And we'll at least be able to see all the mechanics of the raid. So, first, we want to try to beat these people up the stairs because they will just stop me from grabbing the raid boss. So I'm gonna grab this. The puddles get on the ground. They don't really do a lot of damage, but they do something very disastrous called absorbing your mana. I switched a little early there. And then these pulls, you want to dodge those because they apply defense, or they apply defense down and attack down on your units, and that's pretty awful. So we're saving our mana here. This arm comes down and you have to focus it. If you do not focus this arm, you are guaranteed to lose the raid. So like here, you notice how that person's not really focusing it, so I'm kind of having to solo it. The arm will get harder and harder as the raid goes on, but we were able to get it down there, so hopefully we can keep this going and it won't be too bad from here on out. This person put the poles in the worst spot possible because that's where the next arm's going to be, so, oh, and there's the arm. The arms are always going to be opposite of each other, so keep that in mind whenever you're doing this raid. But we're actually not going to get this because they're not focusing arm. My units are still alive, actually. If someone healed, okay, we got the heal up in time. Thank goodness. So we might actually still have a chance to clear this raid, but this is not going well. You definitely, if you're new to this raid, you want to do this with like people that at least have the bonus, I'd say. Just because you don't want to deal with people who don't know how to do the raid on top of the fact that they don't even have bonus. I'm just here to give you guys a realistic tutorial of what you can expect in this stuff, and this is the widest variety I can see. Like, you could realistically see. Bad time to ult, but we'll hopefully get out of that without getting too much put on. Only on Lulu, so that's not too bad. But Naomi's gonna walk into that, because why not? But luckily she got cleansed up, so nothing too bad there. It also goes to this arm shooty thing, and this is where it does the majority of its damage. And it's at like 7 bars and like 5 bars or something. Or like once you get past 7 bars and 4 bars, I'd say, is when it starts doing that. And that can actually hurt like really bad. If anything actually does die during this raid though, it does get like a damage boost that hurts like crazy too, so you gotta keep in mind a lot of this stuff. And you also have to pay attention to spacing, for example. And now we have another arm phase. That person stood under the arm. That arm does a lot of damage, so as you can see, they actually just straight flanked. Our other teammate's gonna sit in the corner there. Hopefully we can get this arm down. We got the arm down, but yeah, that guy flanking definitely hurt. The guy's running again, which just is not the correct play to do whatsoever. So we're probably gonna fail this raid, but that's alright. No one's grouping up either, so that's always awful. If you group up in this section, you can mitigate a lot of the damage. So, but the biggest problem here that our team is doing wrong is they're not trying to apply damage, and they're not trying to stay on top of each other to apply debuffs to, or buffs and debuffs to each other. So they're actually just looking like a bunch of goons. But yeah, so as you can see, failures are going to happen when you're doing pug lobbies. I've done this raid hundreds, if not thousands of times at this point, because it's really easy to get through, especially if you have another person with you, because you can, the nice thing if you're trying to speedrun this raid, you can skip hands. If you hit the 7 bar and then the 5 bar before a hands comes out, then you can actually skip it. We're gonna actually try to get a good raid going this time. So here we got people who actually have bonus. They have 2 damage units, and we should actually be able to skip hands here if they let me take prio. So hopefully we can steal prio, but we'll see. All right, we stole prio from them. They actually do give us 3 dashes at the start, so that's always good. What I do is I'll just walk the circles over here. That way they're out of the way of everyone. If they run to the right side over here with me, this tidal wave will actually spawn over there, which makes this a lot more consistent. but it should be all right. As you can see, we're down through 9 bars right now, and we're gonna get one hand here, but that's all right. We'll just switch over this, that way we can get the damage down. I like the mana management a lot. That way, or, no, wait, you don't need to have your mana completely down at all times, right? So now it's going to switch into the phase where it's going to start shooting stuff again. It literally canceled out everything. I don't know if anyone saw, but it only shot one circle and then paused and went into this phase. So that's something to keep note of. Now that our healer's done using all of its mana, we're just going to switch off to it for a second, let the mana stack up, let the DPS do some damage. This is how I like to do stuff personally. You don't have to, but like here, we're going to get that last hit in, we can switch before we hit 10, and then we can just start gunning this boss down pretty heavily. That's probably about a full bar worth of damage. In all honesty, if you're playing Orbia, by the way, don't run Water Staff or Double Dark Staff. Since I'm doing a guide, I didn't actually look, but Fire Staff would be better in this situation because we get extra debuffs, or Wind Staff. That way you can get more reliable, or more defense downs and more reliable quantities of defense downs. But as you can see, we got the raid finished. Very simple, quick to do. Especially if you skip all the phases, it gets really quick to do. I think our speedrun time, whenever I was doing this with friends on the new or on Vertihile, I think we're already down to 2990 is what I believe it said up there. But as you can see, people are quickly picking up that you can actually just speed run through the whole thing without worrying about catching the arms. So, but anyways, that's all I have for you guys. If you enjoyed the video, please consider subscribing. We're currently at a feudal battle with Baker's Goods to 500 subscribers. So if you like the content and you want to see more, please do subscribe. And if you want to support the war, go over to his videos, put hashtag BakersBad and like his videos, because it'd be rude if you didn't. Thank you, and have a good one. Later.